What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Dynasty Trade Show. We're so glad you could join us. Just like always, if you want your deals featured, patreon.com/South Harmon. $5 tier is what you're looking for, but we got something for everybody. Adam is big on this merch giveaway. We're giving away a lot of really cool shit, Adam. Like you're putting some stuff out there on AMA that's making me low-key jealous. Low-key jealous.
Listen, man, we're trying to make shit as cool as we can, right? We're rocking the turd. It's different, but it's us, right? This is who we are. And speaking of who we are, I mean, Mike, I'm wanting to be a part of this, but I'm battling. But here's where you need to go, okay? If I'm sick, I'm out of it. You can't trust me? Patreon. We got a whole squad of content creators, shitheads, rocking the gear that are like-minded Dynasty degenerates. Make sure you go check out patreon.com, especially if you want to get on the trade show, have a chance at any of the merch. I mean, Mike, I'll say this, at this point, we do stuff on YouTube without the Patreon, but largely, if it's going to happen and it's cool, it's in patreon.com/South Harmon. Also, Mike, we're at the point where, unfortunately, we have an injury, a bad one. So, a lot of unruly trades. Go get you some new signed shit. As I put it, real ugly on the Patreon. We're sick over here, buddy. Make sure you get into box break, signed shit. And lastly, it's going to be time to get some new jerseys. It's going to be time to get some new players in your lineups as we have all these injuries happening. So make sure you check out certified shit, the last sh.it. Before we get into the trades, Mike, let's go ahead and just get right into the trades, which, speaking of a sad day, it's not our trade to start off the show, but we do have one. Let's get certified shit out of the way so we can talk about, Mike, this is an interesting one to see here. Warren G is got one side of the McNutted love and one side of the McNutted Egbuka, Dobbins, and then, Gabe Davis still getting thrown around here, buddy. Good for him. He's back.
It's a tossing.
It's
a tossing, man.
Mr. Wonderful's getting JSN in a fourth, though, Mike. So let me ask you right now. JSN and Egbuka, I'm not ready, and I hope no one's really ready to put Egbuka over JSN. But point would be, Mike, what's the difference in Dobbins? Is that enough or no?
That is the $1 million question, man. And I'll take the lead on this one for you because I know you're struggling. I got you, buddy. Mm-hmm. I got you. We'll keep it kind of like Major League. I'll be the main announcer. You'll be my Dynamite co-host.
There you go. Listen, when you need me, whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you call me, I'll be there.
No, but you hit this one on the head. Is the difference between JSN and Emeka Egbuka just strictly J.K. Dobbins? And I venture to say no. Emeka Egbuka came out like gangbusters first week. It's like everything he ever wanted. But there's still some questions. There's still some questions with him. One, when Chris Godwin's back, what's this role look like? Can he still keep producing this year like he was in week one? Which is going to be a tough ask with Chris Godwin back. And we don't really know. There's a scenario where he does, and he's overtaken Godwin, and he is the clear number 2, maybe even the number 1 of this offense. And we're looking at a perennial 17, 18 point per game scorer. But like that outcome, that range of outcomes for him, his peak is what JSN already is what he's already doing. Like that security. And JSN, you want to talk about, it wasn't very far behind Mr. Emeka Egbuka in week 1 and was the entirety of the passing offense. There's no questions like, how much does Cooper Kupp eat into this? How much does Elisha Arroyo? Can Torrey Horton do anything in this offense? The answer was a resounding, it's JSN in this passing offense and pretty much nobody else. So with that being said, while I like J.K. Dobbins as like a cheap running back throw-in all across the board in Dynasty, like somebody that I could probably put in a flex in the lineup league or definitely in best ball, somebody that I want because it is a good offense and he's going to get at least, let's say, 35-40% of the rushing work, if not more. I don't really think that's like the value you put on him is like, is he worth a second? Maybe like a late second. But if you just change him to actual pick value, is whatever the fuck Gabe Davis is, which is nothing. The fourth is more valuable than Gabe Davis, to be completely honest.
I mean,
And
don't even disrespect the fourth like that. Come on.
and a late second enough for me to come off of JSN in a 14-team league. The answer is fuck no, man. Mr. Wonderful back on the board with a good one. He had a string of just not Mr. Wonderful like trades, and he has hurt us, and he has taken us to the woodshed here with these last couple that he's dropped. Like I'm
already
taking
there.
the JSN side.
I'll assume the position right now for you, Mr. Wonderful. But this, I'll say this definitely at the moment I think is you're getting a side or a player, right, that has. I mean, a week ago you're dreaming about this, right? And sometimes dreams come to fruition. I think this is kind of where it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think we have one really great week, obviously, where 2 touchdowns of the 6 targets. So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here with Egbuka. But what I will say is it'll be interesting to see, I think, what he can become. Meaning, JSN, Mike, in his rookie season, oh my gosh, do you remember how panicked people were? Like, there's a chance Egbuka has a better start to his career and has a higher swing than JSN. But the only thing that kind of intrigues me, Mike, is in 14 team, I care a little more about depth, but I think Dobbins, and I don't know. I like him. I think I'm not quite as high as I am on Dobbins as you are, but man, I think this is just, it feels too gross. And honestly, Mike, I'll tell you this, the way I feel pretty gross right now, and you can't, whatever we're doing, I'm not taking Gabe Davis just because of this. Like, there's no way in the world I'm taking the Gabe Davis, even if I'm making this type of a trade. I think, Mike, personally, this is a lab discussion. Let's go check it out. What do you think? So if we take a look at Mr. Wonderful's team, as well as I think that for Warren G, Mike, we talked about this a little bit on 4D, actually, I believe, where, especially in a lineup league, right, you get the player like Dobbins. Now, maybe he's in your lineup right away, but the future is kind of, really muddy if any type of injury happens. There's no value insulation. So you're kind of betting everything on him staying healthy and playing very well. Ultimate Dynasty Champions. All right, so this is it, right? Mr. Warren G. So, well, how about this, Mike? How about J.K. Dobbins as his, running back 1 and 2 with Sharps? Now, I'm not telling you that I would do it then, but I would. If you're making a trade like this, to me, while I don't necessarily love it, you better be relying and needing a Dobbins to be a weekly player, period. Otherwise, what are we doing? Now, Mike, when I look at this team, this is crazy to think that this is the 3rd best team when I'm looking at this team.
That's why week 1 is a clusterfuck of.
It feels very much like I haven't looked at the bench, but it feels very much like there's some holes here, buddy.
He just lost Jaden Reed too.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm not doing this shit, man. I'm not coming off JSN. I don't care how bad my team. Like the guy won week 1, probably on a little bit of some fluky shit, right? Which happens all the time, right? Good teams lose in week 1 that shouldn't have lost, and bad teams sometimes win that shouldn't have won in week 1. It happens all the time. That's why we usually try not to do too wild of swings coming off of week 1, because we see this shit all the time, man. How many years in a row are we going to see Quentin Johnston with 25 fantasy points in week 1 only to be never heard of again throughout the fantasy season?
Right.
I want to preach caution to people, but in Mr. Wonderful, we want to talk about a little bit of the strategy portion of this. I don't see him up here, right? I don't see him listed here. So he takes a rookie that he probably drafted in the mid to back part of the first round at best in Emeka Egbuka, flips him for a top 12 dynasty wide receiver right off the rip, and unloads a running back that he scored 37 fucking points. Mr. Wonderful's tanking in this league. It gets the running back off his roster so it doesn't affect his max points, and gets into a much more safer, better asset that he can turn into something even more if Emeka Egbuka regresses from 20 points and 2 touchdowns on 6 targets, which is probably likely to happen, right? That kind of efficiency isn't going to maintain for the entire season. Otherwise, he'd be the greatest wide receiver that we've ever seen.
I mean, I will say he's had the greatest wide receiver week 1 probably that we've seen in their dynasty days for sure. I mean,
pretty close.
I
Yep.
mean, now, and to the point, Mike, I mean, to me, if I'm rebuilding, I think this trade became very weird going into the lab. Admittedly, I'm probably thinking a little odd, but I don't know. I definitely still want JSN, right, in a vacuum. But if you're telling me I'm rebuilding, the big part that is getting off of a Dobbins. But, like, I think Egbuka right now, the path he's on is probably going to be in the JSN range, and he's younger. So I'm not saying he's there yet, but I have a younger asset, and I don't really care which one I have between these guys when I'm getting ready to compete. They're both going to be great, I think. So it's just weird because I feel like JSN is much more likely to be a contending piece this year, right? And he's going to the team that's rebuilding, and the team that's trying to contend is like taking the bet of Egbuka actually producing this, for 17 weeks. So it's, I think I want JSN still here, but it's the trade became a little bit more odd as we went to the lab personally for me. Like I would totally understand wanting to get to Egbuka in a rebuild, but going from JSN to Egbuka as a contender is it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him,
Yeah, a little bit, but I do see Mr. Wonderful. Like, if I'm him, I like it too, because the upside shot on JSN, right? Granted, it's week 1. I just told you weird shit happens. We're gonna regress back. He's not getting 59% of the target share like he did in week 1, right? But you could be looking at a guy. You talked up Malik Neighbors so much last year just based on that target share. Doesn't it feel like JSN's in line for like a Malik Neighbors type target load in this fucking offense? Like, where it's just going to be,
Sure.
it's all JSN all the time. So we could be looking at 35% target share. With that, with what we've already seen from JSN and where he started, Adam, by the end of the year, if this shit keeps up and he keeps healthy, we're going to be talking about JSN in the elite tier of wide receivers. We're going to be mentioning him in the same breath as CeeDee Lamb, as Jamar Chase, as Justin Jefferson. That's just how the dynasty market will react to this kind of thing with a guy who's going to get this many fucking targets and have this many receptions. At the worst case scenario, you're talking about him like we used to with Amon-Ra St. Brown before this year, where it's like, dude, he's not elite, but damn, he's right next to him. He's elite adjacent. He's like number 4 or number 5. Emeka Egbuka, man, I don't see a world in 2025, Adam, where he can even sniff that kind of conversation, right?
Really?
Like,
You don't see
yes.
bro, look at Brian Thomas and how long it took him to kind of get to that point. I mean,
But did Brian Thomas ever get to that, almost elite territory?
at the end of the year, he did.
Man, I mean, you're talking about a guy who was hovering around 7 or 8, in dynasty ranks all
Right.
offseason. I'm talking about a guy who's going to be hovering around 4 or 5.
If BTJ doesn't have the Travis Hunter get drafted there, I mean, he probably stays in that 4 or 5 where he was kind of at a little more, right? He was like right on the heels. People were screaming at me that he's just as good as Malik Neighbors, and I'm not even telling you that he's not a bad player. I think the draft of Travis Hunter is what kind of changed the back end of the elite tier to probably clearly in a tier 2, and we'll see what happens. But all that to say, Mike, is really more so for me with everything. If you're telling me that if you think that JSN can go high, I'm not disagreeing, for the record. I think JSN has proven last year to be legitimate, right? But think about how long it took to get there. Like where Egbuka started at this moment, I mean, that's as good of a start as it gets. Now, listen, I want to say JCM and Egbuka, they're not the same thing, but JCM had a much coming down to earth week 2. So I'm not telling you that Egbuka, almost for certain he's going to come down to earth. He had 2 touchdowns game winner. I mean, that's not going to continue week in and week out. If it did, I mean, good night. But point is, I think wherever JSN can go, I think Egbuka has the opportunity, if he plays well, to go at least that high. So I think it's a close conversation for where they started, and Egbuka is certainly on a better path than JSN was in his rookie season.
Fair. What we got for the second one, man? Throw it up on
Let's
here.
talk it.
Miss Wonderful getting too much shine. This is what happens when we don't start off with one of our own deals because we can't get any fucking done in a week.
I know.
Imagine that. All shitty ones. How about this? You got a
Here's
AJR.
a good one for you. How about Jackson Dart, a 4th and a
Yep.
3rd? Here, we want to talk about picking directions. I mean, there's the old, and there's out with the old, and there's in with the new. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, though, while old, had I literally didn't think he had another week like that in him, honestly, personally, all his career. So
Ever.
Rodgers had a great week. David Montgomery and Mac Jones. The thing about it is, I'd like getting a starting quarterback for the week, but in a lineup start 12. I mean, it's not anything crazy, but I'll take a starting quarterback, of course. But would you rather have Jackson Dart in versus all of the things on the other side?
I would rather have Jackson Dart versus all the things
That's what
on
I'm
the other
saying.
side.
Right. Even in a start 12, it's just, oh my gosh, man. I'm already kind of sick. It kind of feels, it really is kind of gross looking at this. Now, Jackson Dart is anything from a sure thing, but I know what the other side isn't. Any bit of sure. Like,
None of them.
I'm hoping Montgomery can give me the production, but Mike, I'm worried about what his future role is, and then I shouldn't be quite yet, but after week 1, I'm a little bit uneasy about this entire offense too. So I don't know. I don't feel warm and fuzzy about anything on the other side, frankly.
This feels like
Fabian
a
Reyes.
flex deal. This feels like a flex deal trade. Just slap some shit on there. Except it cost you Jackson Dart, who by all accounts, man, didn't even have to play to ascend in dynasty value because Russ looked that fucking bad. Didn't even have to play to ascend in dynasty value.
Mm-hmm.
And you got people out here just screaming from the rooftops at him. Start the rook. Start the dart. Let's go. Put the dart in. Russ is terrible. We're cooked. We're done.
I mean, it was I watched a healthy amount of that game, honestly, Mike, and it was not healthy to be watching it. Here's what I'm gonna. This is really wish I would have gotten end up getting money moves for this week. But Mike, let me just tell you, I think what's so interesting, where the direction of the show's going to go next week is kind of to this point of this trade. When I'm thinking about it, right? It's September, and everyone gets real excited, right? Week 1 has hit. Mike, what world are we in where in September, for all intents and purposes, there's been an incredibly low amount of injuries to start the season? Like season endings, right? Like relative to last year. I'm not trying to. I'll knock on wood, but I'm saying, like, for the most part, there's a lot of healthy teams with no buys right now. Why are we doing this at this time? Like, this is everything. Like, don't you want to save up for when you need it?
No.
You don't.
No. You know how most of these dynasty
why wait till
play?
Christmas when we play for the money? Let's go get a bunch of Jags right now. Now, I mean, listen.
We've seen this for
the spray and pray can work. It can work, but it's just this one. This to me though, Mike, I'm not with you. I'm with you in the sentiment, but this feels a lot grosser than typical. Some of these trades, like, this is disgusting on that other end.
We've seen this trend on recent trade shows where, as a whole, right, across most leagues, okay, a lot of the South Harmon leagues, you don't see this shit, which makes it tough for us to get deals done sometimes. But you got to love these managers like Fabian Reyes, right? You got to love them because everybody gets so focused on football's back. I'm ready to compete. I want to go now. They don't have any long-term dynasty to their game at all. Everybody wants to turn this shit into dynasty redraft or redraft dynasty, however the hell you want to play it. So we saw it with people sending away 26 first. We talked about it a couple shows ago. Same kind of thing. But this is the same principle that bleeds into the early part of the season. I have this long-term asset in Jackson Dart, which is gaining value. Since the end of August, he's up 3 spots at the quarterback position. He went from 23 to 20, and the man hasn't taken a real NFL snap yet. Like, he hasn't played in a regular season game yet, and is moving up the rank.
Think of like the Penix thing, right? Except for he didn't. Except for these guys didn't get a bag like Kirk Cousins did, right?
And already here, after week 1, I'm trading for an 87-year-old Aaron Rodgers, a David Montgomery on an offense that looked putrid and horrid in week 1, and Mac Jones, who's making a few spot starts while Brock Purdy's out. In an offense that is devoid of talent, too, because they just lost George Kittle to their wide receiver they paid $1 billion to last year is still on the PUP list. And they're down to, like, Ricky Pearsall and we pray Kendrick Bourne is something that they just signed for 1 year, $1 million or whatever it was.
Maybe we bring him back to life too with Mac Jones, right?
This is where we're at. Like fuck this, man. I'm not saving this Jackson Dart piece for 1 when he starts and then moves up even more in dynasty value. 2, if he starts and plays well and really fucking ascends, all of a sudden we're talking about Jackson Dart in the 15s Or 3, even if Jackson Dart's not playing, this is the trump card that I have for when something really bad happens to my fucking roster here in a couple weeks, which is bound to do. It's absolutely insane to me that we're already ready to just cash this chip in so fast
see,
after week 1.
Here's the reason why this one is a little bit, I don't know, against a little different or against the typical nonsensical stuff going on. Like, to me, this time of year is what I'm going to start coining is I'm collecting fun coupons, right? For the end of the year, now I can actually make it rain. People are just throwing the money around willy-nilly. I'll take that money and just start stockpiling it. Because, Mike, if you told me that's a pick right there, right? Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that just, it's like, Mike, imagine saying, hey, I got too much money in my wallet. I got to get rid of it right now. I can't have that. Like, that's what they do with picks. But because it's a player, now he isn't playing, right? But seeing what Russ did, you can tell yourself that story of, okay, Jackson Dart's going up in value. That's why this one's a little bit different to me. Is like you gave up on what actually could be and is a player for the season. I think there's a very realistic chance, like you said. I mean, how would I be? What would be a longer wait for him to be on the field? Like what's a long wait with this situation realistically?
A long wait, like week 8.
I was about to say, Mike, week 8. Speaking of which, that's Halloween. It's the Halloween week, Mike. By week 8, you're telling me that's different than a pick, a super flex league. He'll be starting. Like, okay. Let's get out of here.
It's gross, man. Gross. Don't do shit like this.
Oh wow. Okay. Speaking of picks, well, Will Shipley's in this deal, so let's talk about him first. Will Shipley, Jordan Addison. There we got a couple players not playing. Similar vibe as last trade, and then we got picks too. Mike, where you at here? Lineup start 11. So we got Malik or a 26 first, a 27 first, Addison and Shipley, full tight end premium.
The Addison and the 2 first part, I'm going to ignore the Will Shipley thing. Like it didn't really matter beforehand. Yeah. It really doesn't matter now that he's hurt, right? It doesn't matter at all. Addison and 2 first from league neighbors. A lot of people would be like, I don't know if that's enough. It might be a little bit light. There's a scenario where those picks, you want to bet against the other person, so those picks actually could have some increased value. Where if you told me that, like, fuck yeah, I'll take Addison in the 2 picks, and I'm not even a big Addison guy. Addison right now is just kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I'll say if you put just a generic value on him, Adam, it's probably a first. And in most 12-team lineup leagues, best ball leagues, doesn't really matter. 12-team superflex leagues, just about anything that's not one of those elite quarterbacks, you tell me you're giving me 3 first for, I'm usually pushing the button, and it doesn't really matter what the asset is unless I have the hesitancy because, I'm trading. For example, if it was like the OG shit league, Adam, where I know you got a goon squad,
you're like,
and you're going to be
you're penciling
right
this in at 111 or best case scenario.
Yeah,
right?
I'm penciling this shit in as a 110 at best, and that's if shit goes wrong for him. Then I would be a little bit more hesitant to move off an asset like Malik Neighbors. But for the most part, Adam, just universally across the board, I mean, even if I was as big as a Malik Neighbors fan as you, if you tell me I can get into 3 first territory for him, more times than not, I'm just going to go, well, I've done this deal a billion fucking times, man, and it usually always works out for the picks. It's the Sex Panther. 60% of the time works every time.
It works every time. Now, I mean, I think. Listen, I'm as bullish as I think they get on Malik, but I will say this though: the start 11 part, especially, Mike. Now in a lineup start 9. That'd probably be the format, right? Like 12-team lineup start 9, where I could maybe say, you know what, you got to pay. You got to pay me a little more. You got to pay me something a little more. Mike, we get to start 11. We're just at enough spots here, knowing, and I'm knocking on wood. I'm not wishing it to come, but more injuries happen. The bye weeks come around. Man, start 11 makes it to where. The other thing is Addison's very, very in the mix of a wide receiver. Back in wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, flex, and there's no chance I'm not playing him in this league, right? Unless my team is just absolutely nutso. So the other thing about it, actually, Mike, we were talking about McCarthy. This is aside from the trade, but to the point of, I was talking about how I liked what I saw in the later part of the game, obviously. But I was like, I want to see the verticality. I think when Jordan Addison gets back, that's how you add some verticality to this offense, buddy. And it'll be kind of exciting to see what he can do with McCarthy as he continues to progress. I think here, Mike, this is the way I would say this if I'm going to take this trade on, because I think I very much, as neighbors stand, would be taking this on. Meaning, this is probably a dub, right? Like if I'm feeling like I'm willing to send him away, I think most people would be. This is the reality of it, though. I'm looking to probably see what I can now do with these picks because, like, I don't know what you have. But maybe we need to go to the lab, actually. Let's go ahead and head over to the lab. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So,
up, baby.
And although, Mike, we're gonna have to figure this out, buddy. This is a little game of
it's Dynasty and Chill. I got you.
You
buddy.
got you. Oh, dude, look at this. What's up, Scott? Dynasty and Chill. All right, so AJ06. So let's take a look at what he does have a very good team, and I don't think I would have done it personally, but I could see it.
He's got a good team.
Nah, I can get behind it, man. He's got Rome on the bench. He maybe had the ability to consolidate, but Mike, this is the thing now. You cleaned out your picks and your entire cupboard. I don't think you're like guaranteed to be elite, but this team has enough depth to probably where you're going to need catastrophic things to happen for this to take you, Mike. But here's the thing. Are we telling me you're in a rebuild here? I don't think we have any conversation about this. I'm moving. I love Malik. I'd love to build around him, but I can build around this just fine. You know, you can have Malik.
Yeah. The only thing I would say for the rebuilding side, who takes it for take care, spy care, is as soon as Jordan Addison's back and has a week with JJ McCarthy, I'm moving him too.
Sure, yeah.
Like I'm capitalizing. Like, hey, can I get a first and a second? You know, and maybe it's such a good week and people are hyping him up that you might even be approaching maybe 2 first territory, which it's kind of a long stretch, but it could happen. It could happen. But dude, I think anytime I get that first and a second offer, I just go, yep, okay, good. Now you take Jordan Addison. I'll just keep continuing to liquidate my assets the best I can.
Yeah, 100%. It's devastating not having your pick. Excuse me, but at the same time, I think one of the. Oh no, you do have your pick. No, you have AJ's pick. I'm tripping. No, when you don't have your own first, right? It's tough because you're like, well, how do I rebuild? The same way you did when you had your pick. It's sunk cost fallacy, man. Like your team is going to be better by rebuilding, so let it happen and understand that you may not be able to get that pick back, and it's okay.
So, some breaking news: he ain't getting that pick back. The worst team in the league, who already has 3 firsts.
Here's the problem. Here is the big problem. Where take care, spike care. You know, we're gonna be taking care for a long time. Mike, this is no man's land. I have no hope. I have no future. I have no present. I'm completely miserable, San Diego.
Right. He's just trying to plug holes like he's what was that story about the little Dutch boy, you know, with the dams in the Netherlands? Just keep putting fingers in holes, man.
Hey,
New ones keep popping up.
I've been over to Amsterdam. Shout out to the Netherlands, man. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, get me out of the lab. Get me back into normal. That one really hurt, Mike. Trying to do the, walk through this, and then every time I go to the lab, I feel a lot weirder today. I know I'm out of it, but God, there's some odd things happening, buddy, after week 1.
You can see the thought process. It just doesn't fully come to fruition. It's like,
man, I will say, Mike, the interesting part, though, to me is like, man, if someone's down their picks, I can't imagine sending them picks to get neighbors from them.
God damn, look at this deal.
All right, Mike.
Look at this deal.
Listen, man, the best part about both of these Egbuka deals, not just the fact that, there's a fervor for this guy. Let me say, how's that? Everyone's trying to stick their holes in him too, okay? But, Mike, this is the thing. You're split. You got the Dobbin. Now you got the love of McCarthy in this and Castle Black's first. I mean, where you at, though? Lamar.
This is a lot to give up for Lamar Jackson, man. Listen, if I'm LC Shepard, okay, and we'll find out when we go to the lab. I might be disappointed again, but if I'm LC Shepard and I'm in any kind of leaning towards a rebuild, I pray to God somebody comes to me for my Lamar, my Jaden,
My
my
rebuild
Jalen
got a lot
Hurts,
shorter
my
here.
Josh Allen. Fuck yes. I pray somebody comes to me with this kind of offer. This is the dream. I'll say this, though. There's a scenario when we end up going to the lab. If I'm Castle Black, sometimes you just got to do it, man. Line up, start 10. We know how great those elite quarterbacks are going to be on the warp.
Mm-hmm.
It's a steep fucking price, but if I'm going to pay any kind of steep price, it's going to be for this asset and this asset alone. Ooh, man, this is going to be a tough one because this is a lot to ask. You want to go back to like the old school roots?
Mm-hmm.
JJ McCarthy's a first and a second pretty easily, and I would argue on my side that he's 2 firsts right now. Emeka Egbuka is a first and a second pretty easily, and I'm sure you would argue that he is fast approaching 2 first territory.
I think the prime.
You
I think the
add all that
prime.
shit
You have
up,
to give me 2 because I don't think he's necessarily 2 yet, Mike. But I think that's the trajectory, right? So that's what I want to get off. Yeah.
Yep. You add all that shit up, and you're talking about potential of 5 first value on one side for Lamar Jackson.
I got 5 on it.
I know last year you had a bad deal that you regret with Patrick Mahomes, where you paid, what was it, like 4 firsts or something like that? In value
2023. 2023 season, I paid Kittle, Purdy at the time, who I was itching to get off of, a legitimate quarterback in best ball, and 2 of my first. So it was but it wasn't this. It wasn't this.
It wasn't this. It wasn't this. Now, granted, I think even back then you would have agreed that Lamar or a Josh Allen type or something along those lines was a little bit of a step up from Patrick Mahomes. But still, man, I know you regret that deal to this fucking day about how much you sent away for him.
Because I legitimately, Mike, that was also the year 2023. Remember how the fucking Chiefs just crumbled down the stretch? I legitimately had a winning team that lost because of that trade. But yes, the thing is, though, this is also a lineup start 10, right? The best ball thing makes that very difficult. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to send away 5 first here. Okay, let's not get crazy here. But I'm trying to find the league. I can't get myself to not look at this trade. That's crazy, buddy.
It's wild.
Tradeaholic. So you gotta understand, Castle's he's a 3 person here. Let me show you what I'm working with.
He's a 3-pager. He's a 3-pager.
You get to 3 pages. I mean, you have earned every bit of the love.
He's on page 2 about halfway down. There you go.
Got him. Tradeaholics. All right. Oh, man. All right.
Not what you like to see starting off.
Well, this is how you get closer to that top thing. Okay. Now, granted, we're looking at record and points. So, like when I look at the team, pretty damn good team. Now, Where are you at? I have a couple different things that I'm thinking through here. Where are you at right now when you kind of see this team here as we're looking through it, right? Will Shipley, Calvin Ridley, your boy Pittman. I mean, we have a hard time jamming all these guys in the lineup, right?
Well, where he was weakest at was at the quarterback position, right? Now, you just shored that up in a big fucking way.
Yeah.
Not anymore. You just shored that up. I mean, before this, Jared Goff was his QB1 and Sam Darnold was in a super flex spot. With what was around him, I would understand, like, dude, I got to do something to move this up. I got to do something to move this up because I'm going to waste away, whatever's left of Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, Chase Brown, Amon-Ra. Like, I'm going to waste away Jonathan Taylor. If I'm rocking in a start 10, Jared Goff is my QB1 and Sam Darnold is my QB2. So I understand that urgency.
And I mean, Mike, you're looking at. Listen, I can't wait for Sam Darnold to give the keys to Jalen Milroe too, right?
And I think the rest of the team, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman, like his bench depth is good enough. Good enough
for sure.
He's still got his 27 picks. He's still got a second in 26. It's a lot on the surface, but I feel much better about it now. Like, I was hoping for maybe a little bit more of a goon squad, right? You were hoping when we pulled up the lab, the dude was already sitting in first place.
I mean, I think, Mike, when if you would have looked at the squad, right, and because you talked about how Darnold and Goff, but McCarthy would have been in there for me ahead of one of those guys probably. So, like, I think you were looking at a goon squad, right? But this is kind of a lot of times, especially in lineup start 10, which is the format here. Mike, you got to pay the iron price, man. Like, that's what ends up happening to happen. And I'll say this: the harder part to quantify is as you're building the Goon Squad, you have no choice but to pay the iron price because you know what they're going to do. Every pivot, they're coming for somebody. They're coming for one of those heads on your team, right? So, I think Mike, the one thing though is why I still want Castle Black side. I'm not saying that LC Shepard didn't do a great job and that I wouldn't want to be in his shoes too. But Mike, to your point, I would prefer to have a little bit better of a depth here. But Mike, I mean, you got Harold Fannin. You still got some upside plays to move off of too, right? I think you're fine here. I think you're fine.
I think he's fine. It was a steep price to pay, but I understand it. I don't hate it for him. But I will finish by saying bravo for LC Shepard.
For sure.
Shitty team, started 0-2, second worst in the league right now. If I'm letting Lamar go in this fucking league, this was a dream package, right? Like this is textbook, like how to milk the most out of your superstar assets, but be okay with getting off of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and I think here's the thing: if I have a, excuse me, I talk about this if I'm rebuilding, right? And let's go take a look at this team and see if it kind of fits this narrative. A lot of times, Mike, if I'm way at the bottom and I'm trying to rebuild, I don't really have a lot of like clean shots to move off of, meaning I can grab hauls from. Now, this team did. I mean, you had J-Day still. You had Neighbors. You had Hampton and Caleb. You just drafted. Not Caleb, really. But point is, you had a lot of high-powered other guys you could trade away. But, Mike, even then, I'll move off of Lamar here, and I'm looking to do such, but this is kind of what I'm naming. I think it's really interesting, actually, as I go back now. Think about Castle's team, right? Tell me. I know you're very J.J. McCarthy, pro J.J. McCarthy, and I'm not. I was extremely impressed with the finish, especially after the start. But let's think about the start for a second. Like, I think sometimes the nature of the human element plays way more of a game than we think. You know how bad you're shitting your fucking pants when J.J. McCarthy's playing that way for 3 quarters when you have Darnold and Goff as your other quarterbacks?
Yeah.
That's why you're fucking making this trade, buddy. That's exactly why. Like I can't go through that for one more Monday night. Just give me fucking Lamar and let's get this over with.
Right. I love it. I love it for LC though. Like also getting that next group of risers, right? You know what I mean? Like he just sent away Lamar at the tippy top, right? He's got Malik Neighbors. He can also do that with if you'd like as well, and really kickstart this rebuild. But then you get 2 guys in JJ McCarthy and Emeka Egbuka, and you go, oh my God. Like these could be the next ones. These could be the next risers, right? And if you do that a few times on a rebuilding team, all of a sudden, 2025, your team looks like ass, but then you head into the 2026 season with young assets that have already ascended, and you got draft picks, and you're adding even more talent to the team. You're like, man, this was a quick 1-year rebuild, right? Like you're roster baiting to this team already in 2026. It's the people who rebuild and like want to diamond hand the shit that the rebuild turns into 3 years, 4 years. Well, see, and assets just fade out of existence and nobody cares.
Yeah, see to me, Mike, I think this is where you. I feel like this is a savvy player, plays in a lot of leagues where, see, if you can kind of get the rebuild kicked off or kind of go that direction before you actually strip everything down to the studs, meaning you can trade away some. Like, just think about this for a second. We're in a line of start 10 here. Do you know how hard it is to actually have to not be a contender when you have J-Day and fucking Lamar?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's savvy. I mean, I see the game, LC Shepard. If you're not in the Patreon, I know you don't think you need us, and maybe you don't, okay? But we'd love to have you. How about Last Chance You? 12 team, Superflex, PPR lineup start 11. Mike, I'll tell you this. I got the text, and this is one of my favorite things about right now, here and now, buddy. Week 1, week 2, week 3. Sending me text to ask my opinion, and before I could even read it and get back to him, which was in like literally 10, 20 minutes. Fuck it, I already did it. So I'm not telling you that the trade's bad or not, but it's one of those like, clearly he couldn't even wait for the answer back. You wanted to go do it. So Mike, where are you at here, buddy? This is Justin Fields in a 2nd or Cam Ward a 4th and the 3rd. Lineup start 11.
The part of this for Schumer that I like the most is the sneaking the 2nd back out of him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like little bit of
I
liquidity.
do like Fields a lot for the season, but I mean, the 2nd makes me now be like, damn. I didn't expect
No
that to happen,
context.
right?
Yeah, no context to the deal. I want the Cam Ward side, even with that second included in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm a contender and I'm looking at Cam Ward and week one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I talk about how good his film looked, but having good looking film doesn't mean you scored fantasy points, right?
Well,
Like that
that's what I
doesn't.
mean.
You don't get fantasy points for almost. Like, well,
Well,
I see it,
he
but
he
almost.
got most for 2 points in most leagues, so it was But I mean, that's I think the big thing if I'm contending, Mike, is not that I don't like the asset of Cam Ward, not that I don't believe Cam Ward can become a good player, but I'm still not necessarily all the way locked in on him being an unleashed rusher. I think he's athletic enough to put a little bit on the ground, but to really matter to raise his floor, I'm still skeptical. I'll say that. And then, Mike, I'll tell you, even as he progresses and gets better this year, is what my expectation is. You're looking at a lot of volatility. Now, you are also looking at a lot of volatility with Fields, but Mike, we just saw the volatility when it's going well is, quarterback one in the
Great.
week. Yeah.
If I was a contending team or a realistic one, like I would do this pivot, especially because I got that second thrown in. That's like really sneaky shit to get that second back. And then if I'm any type of like middle of the road team, not a super contender, I'm taking the Campbell. You can have the Fields. I've been down this road before, and while his production while he's playing, I'm very high on. We've also seen a guy that at this point in his career, he's also like 3-4 bad games in a row from even the New York Jets just going, okay, fuck it. I guess we're putting Tyrod Taylor in, or, we're going to put some other shitbird in. We're done with you. We don't care what that contract says. We're done. Like it's shaky ground for him. Now, week one was very, very encouraging, and I'm very, very high on Justin Fields and big believer in him. But still, you're talking about a guy that is a couple of like missteps away from Trey Lance territory, man. Like nobody gives a fuck. Here's the real problem, Adam, is when you get the lab pulled up and we go here, Schumer, man. Just wait for Adam to respond next time, for fuck's sake. Like so he can get the full story.
I will say I'll give him a little credit. Sometimes it takes me a lot longer than 10 minutes, so maybe that's where his head was at. But
I guess.
I mean, listen, Mike. I'll tell you. I'll give you the honest
truth.
When someone tells me that, when someone asks me a question and they already put the trade through, I don't even. Okay, I like it for you. Sure, well, let's do it.
The dude's got my digits. Why the fuck didn't he hit me up if Adam ain't answered him fast enough? I'm quick with the replies, man.
Yeah,
just ask Fizz.
Mike's a keyboard. He's not just a keyboard warrior. He's a keyboard all-timer. He's the all-time quarterback on the keyboard. Mike,
right there.
Let's see. Last Chance U.
Down towards the bottom.
Right where Last Chance U should be, right at the bottom. Okay. Joey Cheese Sticks at the top with Melanello. This is one hell of a league. All right.
Keep
Ross
scrolling.
Debater about where I'd expect to see him. There's Jay. There's Peter. Okay, Shumi. All right. Let's talk to me. You got the
Look
second.
At this motherfucking roster and tell me if you're making this kind of contender move.
Let's see. I mean, just off the rip, I pray this is just out of order with Jerome Ford and Caleb in there. These are guys that, didn't get much work and might be getting less work. Here, let me say this though. This is not what I expected to see, Schumer. All right, let me, as our valedictorian, I'm not going to say I'm confused. I'm just disappointed more than confused. Right? It's just
I'm more hurt. I'm more hurt.
But let me say this though, Mike. At the same time, it's risky. It's a ballsy play. The kid I know, he's ballsy like that. Now, Mike, you still did get the better picks. I would say. To me, I think there's a lot of flippability, although it's a crazy risky game, in Fields. Mike, let me ask you personally, watching that game. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that, hey, Justin Fields has made it. He's a complete quarterback, and he's going to be an elite dynasty asset. But to me, that was the most impressive game I think I've seen him put together. Obviously, the very end there, he's going to want to have that back. But overall, the way he threw the ball and kind of looked to me, that was some of the things I saw and felt were brewing in Pittsburgh. It's 1 week, I get it. But if he plays, let's say, this to the same point you were making on the flip side, if he finishes a top 12 quarterback for the next couple weeks, where can his market go is, I guess, my question.
That is my biggest problem that I have with it, Adam. Because you watched him last year starting for Pittsburgh. also start the season out fantastic as far as fantasy production was going.
But what was crazy is I made the money move saying there's no way they're going to go away from him. Is the next week Tomlin pulled him, and everyone was saying they're going to pull him for Russ.
Right. Well, I understand that was in there, but I'm just saying, even his dynasty market, while people were starting to believe that he wasn't going to get pulled and is putting up fantasy points at a very good clip last year, his market didn't move up that much. Right. And the same thing this offseason when the Jets gave him a pretty reasonable contract and didn't do anything around him. They didn't draft a Jackson Dart. They didn't do anything. They didn't even draft a Jalen Milroe, like another guy that could be a problem. They said, it's Justin Fields and it's fucking Tyrod Taylor. This is what we're rolling with. His market still did not move.
Well, I think there's a big reason for that because people go to X and they see him missing a screen to Garrett Wilson and think he's cooked.
Right.
No one I think in anywhere of a pessimistic mind on Fields knew that this was in the range of outcomes week one as far as him throwing the football is the one thing I would say.
I mean, you're looking at a guy who was QB1 on the fucking week at him, and he's moved up 2 spots since August.
But that's the reason why I think that's the case and why I asked the question of what if he puts it together for 2 more weeks? Because if you've been a part of the experience of the roller coaster of Justin Fields, it's a hell of a roller coaster, buddy. It's a sick ride. You're nauseous, like I feel right now. If he puts together 3 good weeks in a row, look at what some of these trades are. Where you're trading for Aaron Rodgers, for God's sake. You get rid of Dart to get Rodgers and who? Like,
I have this opinion with Justin Fields just because of all the hate you see out there on Justin Fields.
There's still going to be a lot of strong haters. I'm with you there.
And it's been out there for so long that even Justin Fields plays well for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks at him.
Wow.
At some point, his value is just going to be capped. At some point, somebody's just going to go, best I'll give you is a first and a second, man. Like, this is the best I can do for you. So then at the end of the day, you're looking, you got a first and a second for Justin Fields if Corey flips him to somebody else. And you got that extra second for Peters. You got a first and 2 seconds. Cam Ward doesn't have that limitation on him. If Cam Ward ends up playing well over the next couple weeks, which is a real possibility too, if they get some shit corrected, Cam Ward's going to smash through 2 firsts before you know it. Like 2 actual firsts. They just do not... The equation doesn't line up to me on the flippability thing, unless you catch somebody slipping. If Corey can get somebody to overpay for Justin Fields because he's playing well, then bravo. I don't see that as a realistic outcome for most people.
Damn, I thought you were a believer. Okay. Mike, here's the thing. What's coming, it isn't going to change his market in the offseason, in my opinion. Now, granted, we're talking opinions at this point, right? But this part, I believe, is a fact in the equation. Now, it doesn't mean his market's going to go up. Nobody's moving Justin Fields anywhere when they feel like their quarterback room looks good. No one's hurt. No one's disappointed. Justin Fields balling week in and week out on a, like we saw in Pittsburgh when he was dog shit as far as throwing the football a couple games back in quarterback 1 just cause. So I think when the injuries and buys come around, knock on wood again, hopefully it isn't our guy. But anyway, I think I will say to the point, I can understand the case for going for the Fields route. I think in the play, it's let's just call it, this is a bold strategy, Cotton, and we'll see if it pays out for him.
I'll give you one more point to it. And granted, the play styles are different, right? But I'll give you 2 other recent quarterbacks. Over the last 2 years, both of these guys have played phenomenally well and put fantasy points up on people's teams. But because their name was been drugged through the mud for so fucking long, their value just ends up getting capped. First one, Jared Goff, man. He's been always, for the last 2 years, at best QB 16, but he always hovers around that 16. Now he's down at like 23, 24. He's like starting to tank off, but he never rose above it, even with him playing well and being on Detroit last year, just shitting fantasy points. And the other one, Mr. Baker Mayfield. Perennially for the last 2 years, stuck right around 14, 15, 16, and cannot move from there. Like,
why?
There's no upside.
I feel like this is a different conversation with Justin Fields. Though. Why are those guys capped there?
Those guys are it is not even the rushing thing. Adam,
it is the rushing.
Most people don't subscribe to this rushing thing that I'd put out there, or you and I do, right? Most people don't.
The market's starting to catch up to that. I'm not saying everyone does, but it is starting to catch up to that.
It's the same exact reason that people argue with me all the time about Baker Mayfield or Brock Purdy or Jordan Love or Jared Goff, and why, Mike, you rank them way too low. the general dynasty community doesn't really give a shit about rushing as much as they should. Like, they still really haven't caught up. There's some people who have, and you have seen a little bit of a change. But as a majority, as a whole, nobody looks at the rushing. They look at, oh, GC Brock Purdy was QB8 on the week. GC Baker Mayfield finished the season as QB6. They don't give a shit about the rushing. They don't care about the rushing. And even though you got Baker up here as a top 10 quarterback over the last 2 years, still just hovering right around QB 14, 15 and keep trade cut rankings.
There's a language barrier, though. The reason they don't care about the rushing is because they don't think he's going to be on the field to continue to rush. They don't believe he's going to actually stay around. If he's playing well enough to continue being a starting quarterback, they do care about the rushing, and it's a fun, exciting thing to watch. Where I'm not saying that it's not fun to watch a Baker Mayfield, but you know what you're kind of like. He balled out, but even there, his market's never going to get to the point where a Justin Fields could. Now, I'm with you that there's a lot of haters still.
I'll give you another one then, if you want to go to a one-for-one example then. Kyler Murray.
Well, Kyler Murray though also was in the first round. Was a first-round starter pick when he was balling too. Like the rushing upside for him when he's playing well can take him to a different stratosphere. I think.
And Kyler Murray last year played well for fantasy purposes, right? He's criminally undervalued. He didn't, Kyler Murray is.
Sure, but he wasn't an elite difference maker. Justin Fields, I think, has a range of outcomes to be that this year, right? And when Kyler Murray was a difference maker, he was in the first round of the startup.
Last year, for multiple games, he was an elite difference maker. Kyler's got a 40 burger on his fucking resume from last year, and people still dropped him in rankings.
Right, but he didn't do that for the full season, I think is the point I'm making.
I don't think Justin Fields is going to drop 40 burgers every single week.
I'm not saying he's going to drop 40 burgers every single week, but Mike, we've seen basically a floor of a quarterback 1 week. Plus, Kyler Murray did have some great weeks, but by and large, he was more, a safe quarterback one. I'm not saying that he couldn't have a similar season as Kyler Murray, but I think Justin Fields, when playing well, like we saw Kyler when he really ran the football, can have a massive. Whoa, what the hell was that?
Going back in time.
I know. Massive difference-making upside. So we got R.J. Harvey and a first, Mike, or Garrett Wilson. Stay in the Jets. Stay in the Big Apple, buddy.
We just talked up Garrett Wilson. And where I'm at now with Garrett Wilson, kind of a lot to the Justin Fields and what we've seen already this season. I think Garrett Wilson's pretty quickly approaching, like, lock him in as a top 10 dynasty wide receiver asset. And to get him for R.J. Harvey and a 28 first at him, that many years out, I want the Garrett Wilson side in a lineup start 10. Like, give me the superstar wide receiver in PPR over the running back pretty easily, and I'll pay that 28 first to go get G-Dub.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to go to the lab and almost probably to check out the warp just because, Mike. Let's go lab first, I guess, here. When I look at I think about this for Salt, right? I think it feels like a situation where it's unique, meaning, dude, I'm out here trying to just rebuild no matter what the case would be, right? When I'm taking 28 picks for guys that have maybe not, elite upside, like top 3, but they're, damn good assets and they're kind of still young, that's like I don't know. I guess I feel like let me see, where are we at? Long haul. Where's the long haul? Here it is. All right, so let's take a look at this team. Right here in the middle, man. Now, he won, so maybe that's part of he just trying to not win anymore. He won with 89 point scores. Maybe he's just trying to not have any more wins. Okay, I get it. Jared Goff, R.J. Harvey, Tootin, Rashee Rice, Khalil Shakir, George Kittle. Mike, this team isn't like... I'm not going to say it's running away from the pack, obviously 89 versus all these other scores, but I want to get rid of some of those players. And now the bench is kind of roster constructed to not give you many options. Let's take I want to see how many picks he's got, though. Okay, here we go. All of them 26. So you're just basically, Mike. Here's what I'll say. The R.J. Harvey part now is the flip part. Right, to me, you got to be diligent about now making sure, one, we do actually have to hope that R.J. Harvey, and I don't think it's that crazy, but for his value to actually hit that point of rise where we think it can go, even if it doesn't get all the way to that, I think you got to be diligent about making sure you flip Harvey out of this to keep this type of a trade, even on the surface. Let's say if you sold light, okay, This is a generic thing to talk about in rebuilding. If you're pick leveraging and you're hoarding picks, they're finite. There's only so many. So if you're just kind of making these process plays, even if sometimes if it's 80 cents on the dollar or 90 cents on the dollar, Mike, you have time working with you, right? Mike, you know what's crazy about the season in draft picks? There's only one player. Do you know there's only one player that's never been hurt ever in the game of Dynasty?
Draft picks.
DP, man. DP never gets hurt. DP's that dude. He just stays healthy all year, no matter what happens.
Never tore an Achilles, never blew out an ACL, nothing.
He's literally he's made of steel.
Never got suspended.
He's made of steel.
Never driven too fast.
Now, bless his heart. I mean, he's always, waiting to get in the game. They never really give him a chance. But, I mean, there's no all the volatility, right? That you basically are getting out of the volatility. You're getting into assets that are going to appreciate. Now, you do miss the potential of, if Garrett Wilson keeps this up, maybe he gets back into that crazy territory he once was. Sure, but you're getting so many picks in the process here. If you make Harvey now become a first, right? This is a play that I can get behind it. I can see it now. But it does feel like, man, you know what I want to do here before we get out of this? Let's go to BK's team. Because, okay, here we go. Oh, all right. Okay, this makes sense. And also, I want to bet against teams that basically are now out of picks because they don't have any ability to control outside of the players on their team. And Mike, as I'm scrolling up this bench, goodness, that starting lineup better be something crazy. And it's solid.
It is.
It's solid, but I mean, Mike, think about this. 2027, the 2027 season. That's what I'm up against. Now, I would imagine Salt maybe he's already betting. Salt probably has all his other picks too. So maybe they don't do all that well, or maybe he's a strong contender for the next couple seasons. But listen, it sounds crazy, but Mark Andrews for some people, not me yet, but some people are putting him as dust already, right? Sam Darnold, Mike, I'd imagine. I'm not rooting against the guy, but I'm not banking on him being a starter. Jordan Love should be, Josh Allen should be, but Josh Jacobs, A.J. Brown, these guys in 2 seasons from now may not look like world beaters anymore. So
right.
This is I think smart in process, but it feels like you sold light at the moment.
Also, too, if I'm BK, I'm just going, Jesus, I'm already leveraged out already. What the fuck's one more year? Right? I need a championship within these next 2 years, otherwise none of this shit was worth it.
What I will say, listen, Mike, I can tell you, I've never done this. For everything I just talked about with draft picks, that's the reason why I maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need to push myself to try it, but I've just never been the guy that can go this Saints route personally. Now, Mike, here's the thing about it is though, if you told me I'm already this far in, pause, we're way in, right? Not just the tip any longer.
We're not soaking.
I'm not waiting for fucking Harvey personally though. You know what I mean? Right. I'm really not trying to wait on Harvey when I got Taylor and Jacobs. Now, I would have no problem putting him on my bench, and hopefully, he takes over the reins from Dobbins. But I got no issue moving on from him. I'll just say you're leaning into it, right? If you're going to do something, lean into it. But, man, I don't need to look at the warp. It wasn't a running back thing. I will say this, though. Dude, Mike, imagine, just think with me for a second, okay? 2 years out now, right? These guys all are 2 years older. One of Love or Josh Allen gets hurt, man. This fucking, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So you better go do this. You better go win one, BK, because you ain't going to be having it your way come 2028. All right, let's get up out of here in the lab. Let's get back to reality. That was it. That's all she wrote.
The last one?
We only had 6 because we normally start the show off with one of ours.
Failures.
And Mike, I think here's what I will tell you. I don't mind it. You know why? Because there's always tomorrow for dreams to come true.
There is.
There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. If you're a Browns fan, which I would, implore you, don't explore other opportunities before you decide to, do this. But Mike, you're always having to tell yourself it's going to be another year. It's going to be some other time.
Right.
I'll take 2028 picks, of course. We're never going to win. So
hey, I tried. I sent out offers left and right over the past 2 days. I even got a couple sent to me. But every counter that I got back, I was like, "Go fuck yourself!" Like, I'm not even countering the counter.
I
Yeah,
know I made
good.
you feel on my counter kind of how I feel at the moment. I thought we were going to play a little song and game that we used to play where we meet in the middle, and that's honestly, Mike, it's okay because I will tell you that's the one league where I will ask for something that I shouldn't have to ask for and kind of be okay if I don't. Now, what's going to be fun is this, Mike. I really am looking forward to seeing, not for that league, just in general. I think when we get to bye weeks, it happens every year, but the panic starts to set in for these people that realize they don't have a backup plan. That's one of my favorite times in Dynasty, honestly. It's one of my favorite times of the year. It's like the moments leading up to the purge, like everyone just kind of gets crazy. I love that time. That's when I start making trades, buddy. That's when I really start like sending out offers. Like I'm trying to break people's skulls. Let's get crazy in this thing.
Right. Well, I sat down and I sent that offer to you, and I went, "This is the best I can do, man. Don't try to fucking nickel and dime me." I didn't tell you this, but this is my thought process. I went, "Don't try to nickel and dime me," and I saw a counter come in, and I was like, "What's this bullshit?"
The best part is that the person I now I will
masters.
Let me tell you,
masters of the craft too. Like,
let me tell you,
neither one of us are giving up any leverage that we think we have.
I do very much tell you and practice what I preach, meaning the psychology of it. And Mike and I, now granted, it's changed over the years, and it always does with people, but we used to have, especially when we started, this, like we're gonna kind of piss each other off with our initials offers, right? And we kind of work, and eventually, hopefully, we settle on something there. Otherwise, we're just calling each other names, which is normal, right, for us. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, this isn't bad, but Zach Ertz to me, not that I really give a shit about him on my team anyway. I'm like, I'm just thinking to myself, it's funny. I'm like, hey, I know how this game works. Tucker Kraft definitely feels like a strong ask, but I'm trying to just settle in on the Goddard thing. When
this is the best part.
The best part is the way in which Tucker Kraft acted like I sinned him. You disrespect me like that? Are you shitting me? I'm gonna show the world. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, dude, from the moment the game started, I'm like, wow, that was felt personal for him too. Like he went
one of the few.
Dude, he went bananas that game too.
Then one of the few touchdowns the Commander scored just happens to be Zach Ertz.
Yeah, that was actually funny.
And your reply too made me laugh today too, especially when I got the sleeper notification because you were like, "I sent you Kraft just hoping we'd settle on Goddard," and then I get the notification Goddard's out, and I'm like, "Fuck,
son of a bitch."
I could have had Zach Ertz and Tucker Kraft and not had to worry about Dallas Goedert, who's hurt now.
And now I could have let the guy that's always hurt. It's kind of amazing how sometimes history has a tendency of repeating itself. And honestly, Mike, that's been, what's crazy? That has been, not by design, but then as we started learning more about the tight end position, that's the thinnest by a country mile I've ever run a team in best ball. And, I mean, Mike, there's literally weeks I basically don't have a tight end at all, and it doesn't matter because you just build the rest of your squad out.
Right.
Although I would love to have an Ertz or a healthy Goddard or anybody else, but that's all we got. We did not make a trade. We talked about what we did not do.
We thought about it. I thought about just saying, fuck it, I'm kicking this league down the curb. I'm the second best team in this league to Adams, right? I shouldn't be the second best.
I was going to say, this league, the dynamics in this league, Mike, make it a little bit weird because I feel like I can always, at least at the moment, for now, ask for something I shouldn't ask for. But I'd say this, in a normal best ball league, Mike, that would have been a perfect trade for me to make. And I still probably was. It's just, I felt like, I don't know if I want to do this.
I looked at Adam's roster and I said, maybe I'll just kick this one down the road. I see one chink in Adam's roster. The quarterback position is a little rough for him right now. It's not
sucks?
going well.
You know what sucks?
I happen to have an abundance of quarterbacks. Imagine that. Who knew?
The disconnect was we still both, without saying it, you've said it, I've said it plenty, but we both told each other very clearly we ain't leaving the A-Rich thing. He got a little too strong on this deal, okay? Guy ain't playing for any of us. We value him way more than the average person, I'll tell you that.
A-Rich is the thing that's holding this whole fucking deal up. But I tell you, I don't send you that trade offer if you don't have an Anthony Richardson, because I looked at the rest of it, I was like, I couldn't make sense of how the fuck I even make this work, man.
Dude, it's funny because Zay Flowers was the big piece too. It was him and Zay were the main pieces coming to you, and I was like, man. Well, one, I mean, the embarrassment of riches, I could move on from him, and I'm like, you know what, fuck, I don't want to. His role and the way he played, man, that was what I'm starting to see now. Granted, maybe it'll be just 1 week, but what I saw there was like, holy crap, man! Could we get the Zay Flowers we've been praying and dreaming for? Like,
maybe.
I hope so. I don't know, but
do we get a Zay Flowers and a Rashi rice roll?
Dude, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we kind of, at least for week 1, we did. Speaking of which, if you want to be someone that's, as soon as you get into Patreon, Rashi Rice, we're going to give you all the targets. I promise you, the first week anyone comes on the trade show, or they come into the Patreon, they put a trade in. New members always featured on the trade show. If you want to be on the trade show, listen, we had a free spot for you, matter of fact. Mike and I couldn't even get a deal done, our sorry asses. Come join patreon.com/South Harmon. Get some gear. Start rocking the turd. Slowly we'll get you built up to being a shithead. Love to have you over there. Make sure you go check out Sign Shit. I keep doing this. I'm sick. Hey,
it's a flu game, babe.
Dude, but we're here. We're gonna talk through it. We're gonna pretend it's all right by design. Sign Shit. Check out Box Breaks. If you are into signed memorabilia, there's not a place you'd rather be. That's just, just science. It's fact. Lastly, not last in our heart though. Go check out Certified Shit. CertifiedSH.it. Don't forget to dot the I and tell them that I or Michael sent you, because our partner Fanatics is going to have all the trades, the people that you need to be getting their jerseys. If Puka Nacua changes his number, Jahmyr Gibbs changes his number, we come back to the Certified Shit. Outside of that, buddy, I'm through this. I don't plan to talk for a while. I'm ready to get myself, hopefully, ready to go for Start Shit. Make sure you check out Start Shit. I'll be on this week, regardless of how I feel, because I'm telling you who you shouldn't start, because that's what I would do, is fade me in the Start Shit. That's how you typically do well. Mike will be there. Eric Van Eck will be there. T-Rock will be there. It's going to be a great time. We will see you back here, same time, same place, for the Dynasty Trade Show, though. Next Saturday, we're out of here. Peace.